Leela Moy Prabhu. Acha. So we are being recorded, we heard. And we have Rupanuga Prabhu with us, Jacob is with us, and Sevarupa from South Africa, and Anna now up in the north of Thailand, up in one of the highest places in Thailand, but still looks quite warm. All right. So let us begin with an invocation, and with that invocation, then we'll see how to proceed in this back to basics. And we do have some ideas, but we do want questions as well. Yes, Induleka, did you look? Oh, we just came from South Africa and saw zebras. You also look a little like a zebra. The lighting that's on you. All right. So, dear devotees, let us begin with the Vandanam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitanscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvijay Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, dear devotees, we are here on back to basics, and one of the basics of devotional life is to go on pilgrimage, to visit the places which are dear to our spiritual masters and dear to Gauranga, the places where Mahaprabhu had his pastimes. And yesterday or the day before, depending on where you were in the world, it was Ekadashi. And on Ekadashi, then traditionally, the devotees, they sing this song, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu. And inside there, then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining that that he will get great joy by visiting the holy places that Mahaprabhu visited, but visiting them in the company of the loving devotees. So on the Ekadashis, generally, traditionally, we sing 2 extra songs, one in the morning, one in the evening. And it's the morning one is the first line.
Shri Hari-katha.
Shri Hari-katha, Hari. Yes. Mahaprabhu going out and chanting the holy names, and a beautiful song we can sing any day, not only Ekadashi. And the other song we sing on Ekadashi days is Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu. And this song we can sing also on other days, on days other than Ekadashi. But this is helping us to adjust with the world. And the third verse, Gora Amara Jay Sabastane, Koralo Brahmana Range, Se Sabastana Heriboami, Prana Ibakata Sange. All those places where my Lord Gauranga, Gaurasunda, traveled for pastimes, I will visit in the company of loving devotees. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is always giving us encouragement to see in the practical world, to see Krishna consciousness, Gauranga consciousness. And right now, Chintamani Devidasi, she is somewhere visiting various places, or she's put Dandavat in the chat box. She might be traveling in a train, in a bus, in the middle of Sankirtan, I'm not sure, but she did share some very beautiful video from Navadip, from Srila Guru Maharaj's room, and from Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Path in Navadip, to remind us the place of Mahaprabhu's most generous pastimes. And when the Lord is pleased with the devotees, gives his mercy to the devotees, then he puts them in touch with his devotees. And Navadip Chaitanya Saraswat Mat is where that topmost of pure devotees, those topmost of pure devotees, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, have given the acme, the peak of all spiritual knowledge, of all knowledge, the purpose of our life, the goal, and the finest understanding about Krishna, Krishna consciousness, Gauranga consciousness, and not just by lecture, as it were, but with the connection in seva to Mahaprabhu and to Radha Krishna, in connection of seva to our line. So when we are reminded of the holy places of pilgrimage, then I also have to say, I wonder, because often, and this morning, we are chanting the bhajan somewhere, but we are more or less sitting exactly in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and we're not thinking we are somewhere else, but we're there in Navadip Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And I do wonder sometimes what devotees do feel and do think, because of course we have the experience for being in the kirtans, and as I surprised myself by saying or thinking and then saying the other day, we've been in thousands of kirtans in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat by the grace of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. And when we think about it, first I thought, oh, that sounds too many. But it is a fact. I mean, for over the years, we've been in 100 plus 100 plus 100. Okay, that's coming up into the thousands when you consider morning and evening. In 1 year, if you attend, then you're up to 600 you're up to 700, 365 days in the year. So anyway, over the years, we really have been there for thousands of programs and thousands of days with our masters and in service to them. So we get transported, I have to say, to Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. However, everyone can be transported there by feeling the mood of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. And nowadays, really, it is the time when wherever we are, we have to be non-geographical and very conscious of the spiritual side. Still, we're very happy to receive from Chintamani short video clips from Guru Maharaj's room and from around Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and to see that at least, I mean, not at least, because to see the room and the temple, everything looks nicely cared for, that we've seen on the videos, and the highest things have come flowing from Srila Guru Maharaj's room and from Srila Gurudev's room. So we must remember what we've come in contact with. And when the Lord gives his mercy, he brings us in connection with the devotees. So he's merciful to all of you. And we have to say, merciful to us. But we have to use that mercy. We can't only say, yes, mercy has come to each of us. Mercy has come, but we have to use it properly. So we must be careful with the treasure that has been granted to us by the Lord, because we can see it's very rare. Out of 7.5 million people, they say, out of 7.5 million people, only a few thousand have come to appreciate properly Krishna consciousness, we can say. And then from there, out of so many, how many have really come to see that Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada have given us in all purity Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and keeping themselves under that safe umbrella. So when we find ourselves by good fortune there, we must be careful, stay under that umbrella, and always we have to protect what faith we have and develop that faith more and more. And Chintamani, she's put a message in the chat box which says, the pilgrimage tour is over and I am back at base camp in Mayapur Dham with Sripad Dandi Maharaj and Radha Sundari Didi as my next building down neighbors. Anandita Didi as my Anandita Didi as my next door neighbor, and Amir Sindhu as my landlord. Aha. All right. Now we have the geography, the geography in Mayapur. Hare Krishna. And Subhadra Devi Rasi of Tomsk, she is now in that region, and she's also been sending some clips from Navadip, from the Ganges River, and the boat that didn't sink. Those boats do sink regularly. It's a good idea to take a plastic bag so that if the boat does go down, at least you can put your passport and your mobile phone in the plastic bag and swim to the shore. And if you haven't had swimming lessons yet, then it's a good idea to have some before crossing the Ganges on those wooden boats, because they do go down, they do sink. We know. All right, so and Subhadra she sent also from Hapanya from yesterday, and Bamanpara from yesterday. And Srila Gurudev, he said the proper address for Hapanya is Sri Pat Hapanya Dham. And hence we also feel this is Sri Pat Bamanpara Dham. And in the course of our reading,
Srimati, no?
No, Srimat. In the course of our reading, then I don't know if it was the Chaitanya Charitamrita or Revealed Truth a couple of days, Brihat Bhagavatamrita. Yes. Then that word Srimat was being used also for the Dham. And Srimat, we saw in the word-by-word translation, means full of all beauty and opulence, which is such a beautiful description of Hapanya, such a beautiful description of Bamanpara, the birthplaces, the appearance place of Guru Maharaj, the appearance place of Gurudev, respectively. So anyhow, I'm just starting off today, just mentioning the fortune of our life and how we can share something of the, you can say, the physical places, but the places that remind us of who we are connected with, and the pastimes, the joyful pastimes of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, of Mahaprabhu and his Parshas. So here we are. I'm back in the north of Thailand, in Meirim, Govinda Farm. And already we've had guests. We had one guest yesterday, came from our Bangkok program last Sunday. And they came all the way to Chiang Mai and then got a grab car. If you know what a grab car is, you call on the phone and somehow or another, mystically from the sky, a car comes. And then got a grab car from the airport out here to the farm. And they were very happy, very happy. And anyhow, so it's always encouraging to see the new people, they, like ourselves, when we first came across the teachings of Mahaprabhu, our time it was coming through Srila Prabhupada, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, Mahaprabhu, the holy name, the purpose of life, to become a devotee and live in Goloka Vrindavan. It was so new and inspiring when we first came across such topics, and like amazing that we'd never heard this before. So it's encouraging to see new people, to see people who are also recognizing what is here and wanting to bring into their lives the practices that have been advised by Mahaprabhu and by the disciplic succession, which means the teacher succession, who are teaching and giving access to seva. And so he was here for the day, and I spent some time with him, and Leela Moy Prabhu spent some time with him, and Priya Sundari Devi Rasi, all of us. Actually, he had lunch with us, Prasadam. So we explained about Prasadam, and he was very happy. So from the Netherlands, called Falco. Falco from the Netherlands. And he has a Thai wife who was working. So she was in Bangkok earning the money. But he also works, but he works from his computer. So he was able to come up for a couple of days to Chiang Mai. Okay, so that's a little news from here. And so now Radha Sundari and Chintamani are both in Mayapur in India. And the rest, more devotees joined us, by the way, while we've been chatting. And two of them are Chintamani and Radha Sundari. Also, Gangalila Didi, Priyanana Devidasi, who is here nearby, an hour's drive away in the Gupta Govardhan temple up on the other side of Chiang Mai. And I did have a plan. I do have a plan mapped out how to cycle there without taking a car or going on the main roads, but going on the back roads. But it'll be a full day's cycle if we ever do it. So it's kind of pilgrimage to go from one temple to another, one ashram to another. So maybe in the future we'll have a pilgrimage cycle ride between the two, but a bit far to walk. I think 70 or 60 kilometers.
Ooh.
Little far. And Shara Shiromani Devi Rasi, big welcome. You're being well represented from Salt Lake City with also Ram Sundar Prabhu here. And his father, I don't know if you met his dad, but his father is here. And I was surprised, a very young dad. You know, we usually think fathers are a little old, aren't we? Anyway, he's a young dad. He's a young father and good, very good, sober-natured person. And Rupanuga Prabhu joined us also in the meantime. All right, so dear devotees, on Facebook and on Zoom, welcome. We're happy to have you with us. And we always want to keep the base of our spiritual life safe and sound. So with faith is the main thing. Without faith, then everything is shaky. But remember that full faith, Srila Guru Maharaj said, full faith in this material world almost is not possible. So we have to be careful and guard what faith we have and build on it. And we've had devotees like proudly saying, no, I'm fully faithful, and had devotees proudly saying, no, I am liberated. I can prove it from the scripture.
Uh-oh.
And exactly. And then, unfortunately, it's a bit of an invitation from Maya, whose duty it is to, filter us, if you like, whose duty it is to humble us so that we can really be proper devotees. But it's almost like an invitation to Maya to say, okay, so you think you have full faith, you think you're liberated. Here's a reminder. So, I mean, unfortunately, we've seen things like this in our life, and we definitely want to remember that we are all in relativity of the absolute. And however long or not long we may be practicing devotional life, at every moment we have to really understand we rely on the grace of Krishna, the grace of the Lord, and that grace comes through his devotees. And that also we read this morning in the very early part, the first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which now reading during the Parayana back to the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So for many months now, even for a year or two before we get to the end, we'll see how long it takes. But there also Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj illustrating from the very beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the necessity of getting the grace of the devotees of the Lord. And that is the way that Krishna comes to accept the fallen souls. He gives them that association. So here we are, the fallen soul section, and here we are in the current of grace, but we must utilize it carefully to guard our faith, to guard our everything, our spiritual treasure, and build upon that. So this is the basis. On a good base, we can launch a rocket to outer space, as Srila Gurudev points out, but you need a good launching pad. And that is based on faith, good association, service, the holy name, prasadam, all these good things. So this is my introduction for back to basics this week, and I can invite a question or a comment about anything that you may feel along these lines that is helpful for you, or anything that you may feel that needs clarification. So any questions? You can put a hand up. Oh, first hand to come up, Priyanana Devidasi.
Not me. I have a
Not
question.
you. You
Yeah.
didn't put a hand up. Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. But Kirtan
Okay.
first.
Anyway, Priyanana Devidasi was the first I noticed. So second I notice is Leela Moy Prabhu. We'll hear his question soon. Da. In
Dandavat. Maharaj, I maybe not along the lines of our topic, but in South Africa we started to read Golden Staircase, and our new book, like the Devotional Treasure Chest, as well, has the name of Tridandi Swami Maharaj.
ah, yes.
Could you tell a bit more about his personality? Because I think I've barely seen a photo or heard about him. Something more. Because
There is a reason. He likes to be in the background, and he's quite successful at being in the background.
yeah,
But I know him for thousands of years. I know him since the 1980s, and I know him as a householder, and I know him as a very sad, failed householder, and with the conviction, really, he got the conviction that I never enter into like relationship and marriage again. He had a very hard, he got married in Krishna consciousness, and so he is thinking and hoping that it's going to be like the perfect Krishna conscious marriage. The wife, she's a devotee, he's a devotee, and so they will work together as devotees. But he had a very painful kind of breakup from his wife's side, and that like really shook him, because actually in the traditional married life, it's like two halves of the same body is a husband and wife, and he took in this way. And then anyway, very strong sadness in his heart at that time. And then then by arrangement with the devotees in England, then they said, okay, get a break from this environment where everything's reminding you of your wife. Go to Malaysia. Mahananda is there, and he'll be happy to have you there with him. So I was happy to have him with me. And he's very down to earth, but looking in the not in the sky, but he's looking in the right way, but he's very practical. Not always. He's very down to earth in the sense he's very honest. And by the way, Chidandravansh, if you ever hear this or see this, it's all in glorification. I don't have the slightest criticism of him. I'm just trying to describe you to the devotees who haven't met you. But he's very down to earth, very, he sees the world and he sees it in the Krishna conscious way. And he, anyway, we can say a lot about every devotee, can't we? But anyway, he joined me with the collections in Malaysia and in the preaching in Malaysia for some months. And only he can say, I'm very bad with how long, but only he can say how long he was there. But then later, presently, then you know that Srila Guru Maharaj called me to stay in India. And so I'm there in India, and I'm helping to look after the Western devotees and everything. Then presently, after Guru Maharaj's disappearance, sometime, and again, only he can give the years that these things happened. But after some time, then he he's in London again, and he's serving with Sagar Maharaj. At that time, he was heading up the London temple. So this will be late 80s, or no, maybe early 90s. Anyhow, from that time, then that time, Chidanda Maharaj's name was Saranga Murari Prabhu, a white clad. He'd come out from his married life, but he was serving. But he's very quietly, he's got a lot of slokas that he knows, but quietly, he's a deep thinker and a happy thinker. He kind of relishes things and rolls them over in his mind. He was training to be a Christian priest. And so he does have a lot of Christian, he knows about the saints and the saint of this and the saint of that. And I think he was a bit disappointed in me because I didn't know anything about all of these saints, but he would look into it all. And I mean, really special nature. So you can understand his like ambition was to be a Christian priest, which says something, but he became disappointed in the, sorry to say, in the Christian, a line, the way where he was taught, etc. And when he came across Krishna consciousness, it was like many of us, it was, oh, here is Krishna consciousness. This is what is God consciousness. This is what Jesus is teaching. And everything, it fits into place. Jesus, I am the Son of God. The Guru is considered like that, the Son of God, coming to tell about his Father. So in that perspective, to understand Jesus's message, Jesus's teachings, who is Jesus? So anyway, Chidandi Maharaj, I'm making a long story, still long, aren't I, a little bit? But he eagerly wanted to take sannyas. And he really told me with like full conviction at this point, I'm never going to go back into household life again. That's my experience finished. And Gurudev also, he would say to people whose marriages broke up, etc., he would say, when the devotees maybe start to air some opinion, oh, I'm going to get married again. And Gurudev repeatedly would say, you have experienced once, you again going to go into that same experience. Why? Krishna relieved you of it. But why is because nature is there. Anyhow, Chidandi Maharaj wasn't at all thinking, no, I'll get married again and it'll be successful. He accepted it. Okay, that's the end. And then he wanted to take sannyas for just like signing on the line that, yes, this is my end of my life of male, female, and I'm going to dedicate everything for Krishna consciousness. Anyway, he was serving in London, and our dear Shripad Sagar Maharaj had some objection for him to take sannyas. And so Srila Gurudev told to Saranga Mararipu, you're serving in London, and so you must get the blessings of Sagar Maharaj, who is the manager of London. He's there, the head of the devotees in London. So you can get his blessings, and then I'll give you sannyas. And anyhow, so Saranga Mararipu, he is being kind of accepted by Gurudev on this condition, but he's being not accepted by Sagar Maharaj for sannyas. So then I'm in India, and this I think must be the 90s. Then Saranga Mararipu, he had a scheme, and as I say, he's thoughtful and he thinks things through. So it was one of the festivals, Gaurupanima or Vyasa Puja, one of these main festivals, when mostly the devotees come. And Saranga Mararipu, he came to India earlier, like a few days earlier. And he was in Calcutta, Dum Dum Park, and he was daily going out, doing book distribution, as he would do. He was very happy to reach the people reaching people reaching. And but he was there a few days early, and then Sagar Maharaj is due to come from London. And still he'd come early, and still Gurudev saying to him, I can give you sannyas, but not without Sagar Maharaj's backing. And then I was making arrangement for meeting the important devotees at the airport, and arranging for all the devotees to get from the airport. But we couldn't meet everybody at the airport. It wasn't practical. So we're making arrangement to meet like the sannyasis and Sagar Maharaj at the airport and bring them to Dum Dum Park, where Srila Gurudev was and where I was at that time, which is in Calcutta, our temple in Calcutta. And Saranga Murari Prabhu, he said to me, Mahananda, I want to go and receive Sagar Maharaj at the airport. And I just thought, okay, good. I'm happy with that. To go in the evening, to meet him at the airport, garland him, bring him, give him his accommodation. So I'm happy enough with that. But little did I know that his plan was that he'll meet him, talk to, and then meet him, give him garland, make him nice and peaceful and happy, and then talk with him. And then this is what he did. And then in the morning, when Sagar Maharaj came to meet Gurudev early in the morning, and I was there, right, because we were sleeping right there in the same little small veranda in Dum Dum Park. When Sagar Maharaj came in the morning, the first thing, he was waiting outside the grill door, which is closed during the night. And he was waiting at like 3:45 in the morning or something for the door to open. So he was eager to come to see Gurudev. And so he came in, saw Gurudev, gave full obeisances, maybe gave some dakshin, as devotees do when they first come to meet. But he was eager to say to Gurudev that, Gurudev, about Sagar Maharaj, about Saranga Murari, I think he should take sannyas. And then Gurudev immediately said, he's converted you. And then Sagar Maharaj, he tried to eat his words and say, oh, no, but if, no. And then Guru said, no, you said he should take sannyas. Then I see he's a good preacher because he's converted even you, and Gurudev knows, Sagar Maharaj, everybody knows, a strong-natured personality. So Chidanda Maharaj had converted him that he will give a thumbs up for Saranga Murari to take sannyas. So anyway, then presently, during that visit, then Gurudev did give sannyas to him. And by the way, it was a beautiful relationship with Sagar Maharaj. It's not criticism of Sagar Maharaj. Please, no, none of this is criticism of anybody. It's just the different natures of the devotees and the beautiful Leela which took place, whereby Saranga Murari Prabhu became Shripad Bhakti Swarup Tridandi Maharaj. But he likes to keep in the background. He likes to meet people. He likes to talk with people. And he's somebody who until today goes out day by day, people reaching, distributing books, collecting donations, talking, going to people's homes. But he's not a people person in the sense of public gatherings. He'll do his bit and then, where's Chidandi Maharaj? Oh, he's gone. He can give his talks and everything as according to what's asked of him, but he doesn't like the gatherings part and any part like that. So he's purposefully in the background by his own purpose, but he's a sweet, sweet soul and thoughtful. You can't always tell you can't tell anybody just by first seeing them unless you're Gurudev or Guru Maharaj. They're okay, exceptional cases. But Chidandi Maharaj, he's got a lot behind his outward appearance, which I suppose you can say that about everybody. but I've known him for years, and we are very grateful that Krishna has also given us good friends and good association along the way, of which he's one. And to all of our devotee associates, whether absolutely new or very old, really, we appreciate that Krishna is giving us that opportunity of association. And again, because we do different programs and do read different things, but I think actually it was the last Facebook and Instagram from last week that we did, or from a few days ago that I read, there it was Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj, probably both of them, because we read from both, are mentioning about how humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others, if we can capture these properties into some degree, then this will give us the opportunity, Krishna will give us the opportunity for higher association. He will let us come into the association of the devotees. But without humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others, then we're going to be somewhere, within the material world where, okay, we don't have to be humble, we can assert, we don't have to be tolerant, and we don't have to give honor to others. Then the whole world is open for that. But Krishna brings us into association of devotees, especially if we can follow this formula that Mahaprabhu gave of humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others. So we will try, and we will appreciate devotees, and we do appreciate devotees who we've come in contact with. And I'm happy to say a few words about Tridandi Maharaj because we are asked. And it's true, he brought together Home Comfort, by the way, which is that little booklet. He brought together the book Golden Staircase that Priyananda Reddy was referring to just now. And he brought together Heart and Halo also. And he brought together a recent book, not Devotional Treasure Chest. It was the brown-colored book. What's the brown-colored book called?
Loving, I don't remember.
Sorry, Tridandi, I've forgotten the name of the brown-colored book. Devotional Treasure Chest was one, but the other book, oh dear, I'm a monster. Do you have it there with you, Priyananda? The path, in the path of loving devotion, something like that. Hare Krishna, of loving devotion. Hare Krishna, we'll get the exact name, but it's something like that.
In the light of loving devotion.
In the light of loving devotion. And also a beautiful title, that title given by him also. And that book, In the Light of Loving Devotion, does have, like he specifically brought to Srila Guru Maharaj's topics that he made comments on, referring to the Christian conception. So not that his comments are so that devotees will then become Christian in that sense, but so that the Christian section, who he does like to meet because he can resonate with many things within the Christian research and practice. And so the Christian section can see the conception of Mahaprabhu as presented by Guru Maharaj. So once we're devotees, we don't have to go to eat the bait, as it were, as Guru Maharaj points out, that all of these things, they are the bait to draw sincere seekers to come to hear Mahaprabhu's message. But then those who know about Christianity, you can see, oh my goodness, he knows a lot. But he's a back-pushing person. He's, first initiation. from Srila Prabhupada. Second initiation from Srila Guru Maharaj. Third initiation, sannyas, from Srila Gurudev. So he's actually directly, officially connected to all three, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev. So there we have a mini summary of Tridandi Maharaj. And I can tell you many happy stories, but not today. And some stories I can't tell. Not because of anything wrong, but just they're our stories. Hare Krishna. Okay, Leela Moy Prabhu, your question. You forgot, didn't you?
Back to the basics question. We usually say, okay, let me think. We are always saying about the false ego, ahankara. This is the translation of ahankara, right? The false ego. We kind of know, sometimes we can distinguish, we can see. And what about the real ego, our real ego? Can you tell about this real ego? And if we can identify this.
When you find it, please tell us.
Okay. Answer. Next question.
But our real ego is as a devotee of the Supreme Lord. And that's what Srila Guru Maharaj describes when all the coverings, layer by layer, by layer by layer, covering after covering, the gross, the finer, the more fine, when they're all removed, what is left behind? What is left? Then that is the pure you, and the pure you is a loving servitor of the Supreme Lord. And that pure you, your real ego, your pure ego, when that is revealed, then you will know who you are. You'll have your place in Krishna's world. You'll know your spiritual tendencies. And we know about Sakya, but Dasya is where servitorship actually begins, is how Guru Maharaj describes the actual engagement, the positive engagement through service, and then Dasyam, Sakyam, step by step. But just like every religion, every yoga practice is pointing upwards, but where is that upwards that we're being pointed to? Ultimately, as we see from Vedavyas, yes, but from Parikshit Maharaj, from Shukadev Goswami, everywhere we see that topmost upmost place that they're all pointing upwards to is Goloka Vrindavan. So similarly, in the cleaning of our heart, we're told, take off this layer, this layer, this layer, then finer and finer layers of misconception and of ego, ahankar, and is told that the pratishta is the last snare. One may have controlled his eating, his belly, his sex life, everything. They've controlled, they're not false, but to leave the pratishta, name and fame, it's the last snare, the last trap in our journey to find out who we are inside. And that's why always we are told we must, however important we think we are or have, we must be feeling that we are the worst of the worst and the lowest of the lowest. And this always comes up in our reading. And the thing is, if we read every day, still, I have to say, in this week, some fairly serious situation came up with some devotees and clash with devotees, not here and not devotees. Some of you may know or not, but some clash with devotees came up. And, really, again, it came down to, if we read Gurudev, Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada every day, we will automatically be checked in our if we read Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada every day, we'll automatically be checked. We'll hear the message come to us about our ego, about others, how not to criticize others, not to look at their faults, look at our own faults, this, that, and the other. And then, especially if we have a fault, and then others openly point that out, then we should also think, well, yes, there's Krishna coming to help me through my ego, that now my ego is getting a battering because of my fault. So Krishna is coming to, try to shake the fault out of me by one way or another. And so it's a matter of how we see the world. But when we can really see that the environment is perfect, whatever may be coming to me, which we may think is we may think is unjustified, this happens. And then we just have to understand that here's Krishna helping me to be feeling that I am the worst of the worst, I am the lowest of the lowest. And then this way we can have hope that the mercy of the Lord will come. When we think we have something, then it is very dangerous. Didn't we read this in Revealed Truth like 2 days ago?
Yes, something like this.
I know none of you know what an onion is. Okay, none of you know what an onion tastes like. Good for you. However, you do know what an onion is. It's got so many layers. You peel off the first layer, there's more underneath, which looks the same as the layer you just took off. So like an onion, in one way, you're peeling off layer after layer, but something is left behind because these are coverings. So what is covered, that is a loving devotee of the Supreme Lord. Jai.
Yeah.
That's good news, really. And also good news, it's an eternal loving devotee of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
And maybe one of these layers, maybe like there's a way to use this in service, or all layers should be devastated. I don't know, break it.
Hare Krishna. I'll answer Hare Krishna. Because we have to be careful not to use as an excuse some tendencies which are not humble, tolerant, and giving honor to others that are in us. Not say, yes, I have this for Guru service or Krishna service. We must be very careful. And as with so many things, we must be very careful. And one thing is we must be very careful not to take for granted what we've come in touch with. And Chintamani, brown color book is Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion. No. Well, Chintamani, that was from a little while ago. Yes, brown colored book is Sermons Volume 1 and Sermons Volume 2. But there's a new brown book, which is a lighter brown, and it is called In the Light of Loving Devotion. It's Srila Guru Maharaj's talks and excerpts, but commented on as a separate commentary. You can read it or not, that's up to you, but as a separate commentary at the end of each chapter, separate commentary by Sripad Tridandi Maharaj, who we were mentioning just before. And then Induleka, heart inside of the onion. One example doesn't cover everything, because oh look, there's a picture underneath. If you scroll down, then just like there's a heart. Okay, well done. Well, that's a smelly heart. Our heart is not smelly. Not only that, you see, Srila Guru Maharaj says that if the yogis who are looking for that which is inside, they know they're covered, and they're consciously trying to get rid of each covering by their focus, by their own endeavor, that if they get a touch of that, even for a brief touch, then they will be so astounded that this is who I am. Why was I ever polluted and covered? Why was I ever attracted by these filthy, mundane, temporary things that are only death producing? I'm an eternal soul. I'm an eternal living entity, full of joy. But then Srila Guru Maharaj points out that if they cannot cross, and he gives this example. In fact, this example is in the other book, the other new book with the blue cover, which is a devotional treasure chest, that if they cannot cross the line, that not only am I an eternal, joyful living entity, that's okay, and my nature is joy and I'm eternal, and oh, amazing, why did I get caught up within the dirt of illusion? But if you cannot cross the line to see that our origin, there is Krishna, there is Vishnu, the Lord who has created us, and he is the reservoir of joy and ecstasy and our origin, and we have a relationship with him as a servitor. Then if we cannot cross that line to actually accept the Supreme Lord and see that, yes, that's my home where I have engagement. I pray for engagement to satisfy him with all the other servitors. Then if we cannot accept the Lord, then all of that endeavor, which can be billions of years, just see Brahma Samhita, and lifetime after lifetime, trying to push out what is not. But if they don't come to the plane of savor, if they don't come to the understanding, oh, I have to be a servitor of the Lord, then still they are going to only be temporarily within that Brahma Jyoti, that plane of joy and eternity just floating. Because sooner or later, the soul has to be active. Nature of life is activity. And so when the activity comes, activity has two sides. And again, made clear for us by Guru Maharaj, the greatest thinkers, researchers, knowers of truth. If we're going to be active, either it's going to be in the plane of exploitation, putting me at the center, or it's going to be in the plane of dedication, putting the Lord at the center. So sooner or later, we must fully embrace there is God. He's wonderful. He's Krishna in the topmost zone. And he is the head of our hometown. And our hometown is all love and affection for him by every unit. That is Goloka Vrindavan. So that comes from Sukriti. Sukriti comes from doing something favorable for the Lord. That comes from doing something favorable for his devotees. And this way, from devotee, devotion is born. Bhakti comes from bhakti. Life comes from life. So again comes back to this treasure we mentioned before, the treasure of the association of the devotees. Chintamani's added something under the heart inside the onion. I recently... Huh?
I write a message.
Oh, it's a message to me. Oh. Okay, well, we can ask your question. Keep good association. That is, again, keep good association. And for us to try to answer to people who are gurus or sannyasis or old devotees in other missions, will they listen to us or not? We are not to preach to the faithless, really, because then you can find yourself being very sad for a long time to hear what they say, their words. That is painful, and that is damaging for them if they will blaspheme the name of the Lord or blaspheme our gurus. And if you try to preach the glories of our pure masters, and then somebody who's already got their own idea because they've heard from somebody else then starts saying nasty things, then we are the cause of them to make offense, and we are also hearing their offense, and it is very damaging to us, very painful to us to hear what others say in such a way, out of ignorance, by the way. And ignorant isn't an insult. It means they don't know. A child is ignorant that an electric wire, if you touch it, you're going to get 240-volt electric shock. But then you give him some understanding, then he's not ignorant. But if we can give understanding to those who are already set in their ways by their leaders, that is another story. And subtly, you might get all sorts of nasty things come, and that's why it is good to stay always safe. To stay safely in the association of the devotees who we know have faith, full faith, as much as we can in this world, to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev. Safe and sound. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj.
Yes, Bimal Krishna Prabhu.
Pardon I don't know how to do the hand raise. I'm not very good with technology, so forgive my.
I'm not sure I do either. Somewhere there's a little place where you click. Yeah.
I'll try and figure that out. I just wanted to express my gratitude because I was one of those people who didn't want to practice Trinadapi Sunichena, and so now I'm far away from the devotees, and I just wanted to thank you and all the other devotees for your association, and this brings a lot to me in my heart. So a lot of gratitude. Thank you, and Dandavat.
So Bimal Krishna Prabhu, there is a quote from the Revealed Truth book, which I can share with you and share with everybody, because it just jumped out at me about Srila Gurudev talking about Trinadapi Sunichena. And it's in, you have to give me a second, it's in the tablet. You have to give me a second just to find it. Okay, a second. In the spiritual world, and time is all different, we know. Okay, so it's in the chapter 17. It's the very end, and it's page in the printed book and the PDF book, which is available on scsmat.com. It's page number 344. And from there to the end of the chapter, it's only 4 pages. It's not a big, long read. But at the bottom of page 344, there's a subtitle that says, Our Hope and Challenge. And from there to the end of the chapter, I can recommend this for everybody to read. And I've read and reread it over the last 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 times. So, and referring to others. And this is very beautiful about this theme of humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others, which we've heard from Gurudev. Can I also say thousands of times? Probably, without exaggeration. So page 344 in Revealed Truth. All right, dear devotees, so we're continuing here today, and you're continuing wherever you are in the world, and we're continuing here today, and we'll be back with you after 3 days. And please, if you do have any questions or topic, do let me know. And Seva Rupa. Oh, yes. But this is, yes, Srila Saranga Thakur. All right.
Teaching.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
everybody knows.
You've got a tutorial from Indulekha on how to raise a hand. I think it also depends on whether we're using a mobile phone or if it's an Apple or an Android or version this or that. Because I do see that sometimes I can't do things on the phone because Krishna's given us a phone, a tablet, and a computer, and they all work differently with Zoom. So do your best. And anyway, Krishna's still given us these hands we can put up and these voices that we can use. So, all right, dear ones, as Munindra, I'm not going to steal his words, I'll give credit, as Munindra Mohan Prabhu would say in Italy, dear ones, let us conclude today the Zoom, but we'll all not conclude our seva, we'll continue. And let us try to remember some of the points we've been covering, especially the value of the devotees. And it's joyful to praise the devotees, really. Jai, wonderful Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Wonderful Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Worldwide worshipable Vishwarenya, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. And Sri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj ki Jai.
Those on Zoom, those on Facebook, and those seeing the recorded version who've made it all the way through to the end here, a big well done. But my obeisances to you all, and anyhow obeisances to all of the devotees everywhere, praying for your and their grace. Nitai Gaura Premanandi.
Hari.